Hello, and thanks for tuning in. My name is Duncan, and in this 20-minute video, I will show you how to install the Android WorldBirds application. You may have arrived here after watching the basic features video. If not, please check it out at some stage. This WorldBirds application is free, there are no advertisements, and it is a complete checklist covering all the birds of the world based on the IOC taxonomy. You can't download it from the Google Play Store. To install the application on your phone, you need to do a little bit of manual work. This short video will explain how to do it, and you should be up and running in about 15 to 20 minutes. It's not difficult, but it does involve some downloading, copying, and unzipping of files. Firstly, let's check out the prerequisites. This application requires an Android smartphone. If you have an Apple phone, the solution for you folks is quite simple: buy an Android phone. Sorry, but there will never be an Apple version of this application. You do need a reasonably modern Android phone. It doesn't need to be the latest flashy high-spec phone, but it does need to be running Android version 11 or later, which means a phone probably no more than 4 to 5 years old. You'll need about 1.5 gigabytes of free disk space. Most modern phones come with at least 32 gigs, so that shouldn't be a problem. It's preferable to have GPS capability so you can log your sightings along with GPS coordinates. Most modern phones will have a screen resolution 800 by 360 or higher, and so should be fine. Will be using a Samsung Galaxy S22 in the demo video here, and we'll be doing a clean installation to that phone. Now there are some minor variances between Android phones from different manufacturers, so some of the screens may look slightly different on your phone, but don't worry. Okay, let's get underway. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to download the source files from my Google Drive site to your PC and then copy them to your phone. Now the URL for the Google Drive site was on the previous screen, but the easiest way to get here is actually go to the nzbirding.com site here, go to the WorldBirds page, and then scroll down to the Google Drive download site here. Once we've got here, these are the files that we need to copy down. Now, you'll notice there are 2 PDF files. That's the documentation. It's optional, but I hope at some stage in the future you will want to read them. There are 3 zip files. These are the resources, which are quite large, and the core data and application file, the APK file, they're in the data directory. Now, you can download these files one at a time to your phone. So what I highly recommend you do is download all the files from this download site to the temporary file on your PC. The easiest way to do that is to click on the download all button here. It will take a minute or two to prepare the file and download it. You can see the progress down in the bottom here. In the with the little hourglass, it'll start going around. And we'll wait, and when that's done, we will save that file into the temporary folder, the temporary install folder that I have got prepared on my PC. Okay, it's now ready. I am going to save this file into what I've called the WB temp install folder. And again, the actual save does take it a minute or two. Okay, now the file has been downloaded. What we're going to go ahead and do is extract the files to this temporary folder. So we'll click on extract all and delete this large suffix which Google Drive puts on it. We're going to extract it to a folder called WorldBirds in this temporary install folder, and let the extraction take place. It does take it a minute or two, and then we'll check that the files have all been downloaded correctly. Okay, we now have a WorldBirds folder. In this folder, we've got the 2 PDF files, which you'll read at some stage with the documentation, the 3 zip files, which we will copy across to the phone, and the core data folder with the 6 text files and the APK, which is the key application program. So If you wish, at this stage, you can go back and you can delete the original zip file, but we're now ready to start copying these files to the phone. Okay, for this next stage, we can start copying the files across to the phone. I have my phone connected via USB-C cable to the PC. On the left window here, we have the files that we've downloaded and extracted. I want to copy all these contents across to the phone, which I have here on my right. This is looking at the root folder on the phone. First thing I want to do over here is create a new folder, which I'm going to call WorldBirds. That's important that that name is correct. WorldBirds. And inside this folder, I'm going to create a folder called data. Now, there's no specific order that you need to copy the files across in, but so I'll copy these 6 files and the APK file across. They'll go across very fast. Go back up to the root folder here and copy across the 2 documentation files that I know most of you will probably never read, but they're there for reference. Now I will copy these files zip file because we're going to unzip the files on the phone. It's calls.zip, copy, paste, icons.zip, and you can expect the photos file to take a little bit longer because it is it's over a gigabyte in size. So the copying window may sit there for a few tens of seconds until the copying is finished. There we are. And just do a final check here that we have on this is on the phone side, we have the data files, we have the 2 PDF files and the 3 zip files. Right, next stage. Okay, in demonstrating this next bit, I will be using Windows Phone Link so that I can display the screen of my phone on the PC. What you need to do is open up the File Explorer on your phone. This is on Samsung, this is called My Files. It's this one here. It may be different on other operating systems of other vendors. But we're going to click on My Files. And this is what you should now see on your phone screen. What we're going to do is scroll down to the WorldBirds folder that we created. And in here, we're going to click on each of these zip files to unzip them. What that will do is unzip calls, and all the bird calls will go into a folder they're called calls on within the WorldBirds directory, and the same for icons and photos. Now, if you have an older phone, it may not support unzipping on the phone. If that's the case, you will need to unzip each of these files first on your PC and then copy them across to a calls and icons and photos folder. Refer to the installation instructions for more information on that, but the easy way, as long as your phone supports it, is to click on calls, extract. It's going to go to the calls folder and you just click on extract. And it again takes a few tens of seconds to go through and extract all the files, particularly for the larger photos one. This calls was reasonably quick. You can see a calls folder has now been created. We're going to do the same for icons. Extract. And remember, this is actually happening on my phone. This is display on the PC here. It's just the screen of my phone that's being displayed on the window here on the PC, so I can capture it and display it for you. This is the 11,000 icons being extracted. This is the icons finishing up. And we will now do the same for the photos, which is the biggest one and will take the longest. Extract. This will take a minute or so. So I know it's a big silence, but I'm not going to attempt singing to you to fill in the time. Okay, that's the hardest part done. You can delete these free zip files, calls, icons, and zips to save a bit of space if you wish. If you want, you can also just browse these directories that have been created. So you'll see that in photos, all the files are stored in this. These are the bird family names. If you open up one of these, you can see in there they're stored by the index number, but the English name is alongside it as well. So if you have your own photo of a sub-desert bush warbler, you can copy your photo into here and that will be available in the application. So it's a reasonably quick and easy way to help you find and install photos and calls should you wish to do so. Now we're actually going to install the application. In the WorldBirds folder on your phone, again using the Explorer or My Files on Samsung, go into the data folder and the file you want is the WorldBirds APK file. This is the WorldBirds application. Click on it and install. If you haven't manually installed applications before, you may see an error message about installing applications from unknown sources. In that case, you'll need to change the permissions in security settings. This does vary between Android versions and manufacturers. In Samsung, on my phone, the setting is in more security settings, where this application, the My Files application, is enabled as a source to allow installation of unknown apps. I do this all the time, so the setting is set on my phone, but if you haven't done it before, you may have to put that setting on, and if you're really paranoid, you can also turn it on afterwards. Right, now we're going to open the application for the first time. On your home screen, an icon should have been created for WorldBirds. That's so. What you need to do is click on it. I'm going to click on it here. And this is what you will see the first time you open the application. You will need to give permission so that the application can access the file storage. So it can access all those thousands of files that we've just spent the last 10 minutes installing. If you don't provide this permission, then you can't use the application. You must do that, but you should only need to do this once. So when we do allow permission and we continue, this is what you'll see. This is the main screen, but right now nothing's been loaded, so it looks a bit empty. What we need to do is go to the menu, the buttons up top, and click on Load and Save. Here we need to do a couple of things in that specific order. Firstly, click on File Check. This quickly goes through and checks that those 6 TXT files are present. It's actually read each one of those files, and the number in brackets is the record count of the number of records in each of the files. You don't have to worry about that, but I use it in case there's a problem and I need to do some diagnosis. You'll see it says OK to load, and the DB load button has been enabled. Click on DB load, and it's now loading the database. Didn't take that long. What it's done is it's now loaded the database, and you can see in brackets it's confirmed that for each of the files it's loaded the same number of records into the database tables as it read in. So all that is a really good sign. Again, you should only need to do this the once, or if you do an update to the application. At any stage as well, if you want to verify that the tables have been loaded, there's a verify button at the top, which again just reads the tables, and you can see all the numbers all match up. This is all for problem diagnosis purposes should a problem ever occur. Now, if we go back to the main screen, you'll see now country is all. There's 11,194 species loaded, and if you click on this little north, south, east, west icon on the right, it expands it over so you can see what has been loaded in greater detail. But before we go too much further, I would just like to show you the restore of the mylogs files as well. The mylogs files is a record of your sightings. If you've installed this application for the first time, of course, you won't have any. But if you're doing a reinstallation like I am, or copying your files to another phone, what I've done is I've copied the contents of the mylogs folder here. I'm going to restore these. I'm going to copy these back to a phone. In the WorldBirds directory, there is a mylogs folder, which is currently empty. And I'm going to copy these files back across here and load them back up. Right, now back in the application, you can see when you expand it that we have a listing of all the birds, but there are no ticks. So I'm going to select a country such as Australia. You see there, we expand things. Yep, plenty of birds, but no ticks. And it says at the top, 924 species, none seen in the country. What we're going to do is go to the load and save, and load by sightings file. Click on the load button. So I do. Okay, 11,297 sightings that I have built up over the past 12 years or so birding. So when we go back to the main screen now, for Australia, you can see all the ticks are there. These are the birds that I have seen. I'm going to talk more about what the ticks and the operation of the application in the main features video. However, to check that things are loaded properly, if you click on a bird like black swan, you can see there is the icon, showing the icons have been loaded. In photos, there's one or more photos of black swans, and there is a call here for a black swan. To actually verify that they're all loaded, if we go to the About window, this is doing a background check of all the photos, calls, and icons in the WorldBirds folder. It does take it, again, 20 or 30 seconds to go through and do it all because there are quite a lot there, but there we are. It's coming up now, confirming that we've got 13,491 photos loaded, 1,673 calls, and 11,194 icons, one for each bird species. So go back to the main screen. You are now all fully installed and ready to go. You can start using the application now. You can go and read the documentation if you want, or you can listen to one of the other YouTube videos where I'll go through the features and use of the application in more detail. Thanks for your time.